And welcome back for part 3 of box 3 of my 45s. We're starting this one off with someone who we unfortunately lost recently. That's Gordon Lightfoot doing Sundown. You better take care. Yeah, that record, the Edmund Fitzgerald's always going to be my favorite song of his, but this was another really great one that he had too. And the B side of that one, Too Late for Praying. Don't know that one, but Sundown was definitely worth buying. And then coming up next, we've had a couple of monkeys before, but I don't think we've ran across Stepping Stone. I'm not your stepping stone. And you can say what you want about the monkeys. I've heard lots of negative things said about them, but they did have some talent. They did do some good songs. Whether or not they wrote them, I'm a Believer here, written by Neil Diamond. Most people don't know that, but the Monkees did record it first, I believe. But Neil Diamond wrote it, and the Monkees did do a lot of really good tunes. Their show was entertaining, and here's one that's kind of funny. It's got a nice 10-cent price tag on it. Pleasant Valley Sunday. That's another really good song of theirs. And the B side of that, there's one I don't recognize, Words. That's a Missing Persons song in my book, but hey, I'm sure Missing Persons didn't do a remake of a Monkees song. And here's another one that I run across all the time. I think we've already seen it. It might have been in box 1 and in box 2. It was in one of them at least. So we've seen this one. But it's still the 4-minute and 35-second version. I do know that somewhere along the line I came across an album version of it on a 45. But this is the original radio edit that came out. And it's got the same theme from Boat Weirdos on the B-side. It's probably the exact same edition as I've had previously. I've got lots of copies of that song. And it's a great song. That copy isn't in the greatest of shape, so I don't mind having more than one. Cat Stevens with Wild World. Yeah, say what you want. It's a good song. Cat Stevens did a few. And Miles from Nowhere. T for the Tiller Man was probably his biggest album or most popular album. And Wild World was probably one of his bigger hits that most of us are going to recognize and know. Here's a great one. It is a reissue. This clearly isn't the first issue of it. But the Cars doing Let's Go. Yeah, I love the Cars. The Cars' first 2 albums especially were awesome. Awesome. Cars were great. And the B-side of that one, My Best Friend's Girl. And the reason why that is because this is a Spun Gold. This is a reissue. They did not originally come out with this same A and B here. These are 2 A-sides. My Best Friend's Girl was a huge hit for him as well as Let's Go was. So, moving on. Ooh, now we've got a barcode one, so you know we're getting up into the later years, and we've got they noted as the LP version of Patience from Guns N' Roses. So, yep. A little more my speed than a lot of these are. I am a rocker. And what's on the B-side of that one? Rocket Queen, which I believe was the last song on Appetite for Destruction. It also is noted as the LP version, and it's also noted as the B-side. So, no doubt about Patience being the A-side on that. Good old Patience. Patience wasn't on Appetite for Destruction, was it? Wasn't that on the EP that followed it? Yeah. I definitely like the album Buckethead did with them. It's more of a Buckethead with Guns N' Roses backing them up when you listen to it as a Buckethead fan. But yeah, Buckethead actually did a Guns N' Roses album. Here's another really good one, but it's collectibles, so that's definitely reissue material here. Abracadabra by Steve Miller. Notice it's not the Steve Miller Band, it's just Steve Miller. That's interesting. Abracadabra. And the B-side of that, Your Cash Ain't Nothing But Trash. Well, let's hope that doesn't become true for us in the not too distant future. Yeah, okay. Now we got another Neil Young. We just had a Neil Young in the last episode. And here he's doing Harvest Moon. We got a barcode. It's 1992. Oh, yes. All right, there you go. This is definitely the latest 45 that we've seen in these first 3 boxes. And definitely a reissue as well. But a 3-minute 49-second edit of Harvest Moon by Neil Young, noted as the A-side. And on the B-side, we've got Old King, which says the album version at 257. So nothing special or different about that song, that one. But would be interesting to hear the edit of Harvest Moon. Next up, we've got, I think this is our first Crosby, Stills, and Nash that we've ran across. And it is one of my favorite songs of theirs, Just a Song Before I Go. I'm actually a big Graham Nash fan. He was, if I had to pick a favorite, Graham Nash. But Stephen Stills did a lot of great stuff too. Not as big a fan of Crosby and not as big a fan as Young. But I was a big Graham Nash fan. And the B-side to that one is a Stephen Stills song. So we got my favorite, my second favorite, A and B, Dark Star, which is another really good song that they put out. 1977. So going back a few years. All right, another foreigner. Looks like we've got quite a few foreigners lately, and this is one of my favorite songs of theirs, Jukebox Hero. Yeah. That was a really, really good one. Trying to make up for some of their lame stuff they did before it. And then Women. We had that on another version. So, interesting. I have to go back and find that one again, compare them, see, because I know that it wasn't Jukebox Hero on the other side of the previous Woman 45 that I showed you. Believing that was in the box 2 somewhere in one of those episodes. But Jukebox Hero is definitely awesome to have on a 45. And then here's I guess you'd have to call this a novelty song. I think he was trying to be, this is the B-side. I threw the wrong side down there. But Eddie Money doing Maybe I'm a Fool. Life for the Taking. Okay. I would have assumed that this was his Party All the Time one, which I do have. I didn't even know I had a second Eddie Money. Oh, Eddie Money. Duh. Some reason I read that as Eddie Murphy, and I was thinking of his Party All the Time. There we go. See? Sometimes I read things wrong. Sometimes I even read them off wrong. I try to correct myself when I do, but I don't always catch myself. But Eddie Money, Life for the Taking, and Maybe I'm a Fool. Neither one of those really comes to mind as Eddie Money songs for me. And I do like Eddie Money, believe it or not. I'm a pretty decent fan of Eddie Money. Even went and seen him live one time at the Rocky Mountain Music Festival. But he's another one that's gone now, unfortunately. And here's a really good John Lennon one. We were talking about the Beatles and how I felt about the different Beatles and their solo projects. Woman by John Lennon, Woman, I can hardly explain. 1980 from Double Fantasy. So this is after he had come, basically out of retirement, raising his son Sean. And it was really, really sad that he got taken away from us. I know we would have gotten a lot of really great music from him if he had been allowed to stay with us. But Yoko Ono doing Beautiful Boys. Yeah, I wouldn't listen to this B-side. Wouldn't hold much interest to me. But Woman was a really good song, and I'm happy to have that on 45. And then one of my really favorites from the 50s. We all got favorites from different genres or different eras. I love Fats Domino. Fats Domino was great. And I Hear You Knockin', but You Can't Come In. And on the B-side of that one, My Blue Heaven. This is one where I know both songs. And so I turned that into a Steve Martin, Rick Moranis title for a movie, My Blue Heaven. Gotta admit, I like the song better than the film. And I am a Steve Martin fan. I do love Steve Martin. He's great. And we're going to be wrapping this one up soon because we just hit the 10-minute mark. But we're hitting some disco now with the Tramps doing Disco Inferno. Me personally, I would put this in kind of like a novelty record because this is kind of more comedy to me. Some of the disco songs from the day, YMCA and In the Navy and Boogie Shoes and all that stuff. It's more like comedy records to me now. B-side, That's Where the Happy People Go. And if you're a big disco fan, don't take no offense to what I'm saying. That's just the way I feel, you know. I did like some disco songs. Won't sit here and say disco sucks or that it... I wasn't burning the albums. It wasn't me. Music is music, and taken on an individual song level, Disco Inferno is an interesting listen. So anyways, we'll be back with the part 4. And we'll see if we can wrap this box up on that one.